Well, hello and welcome to the Shifts and Pucks News Pack for Thursday, September the 1st. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter at Shifts and Pucks, Facebook.com Shifts and Pucks, YouTube.com Shifts and Pucks, Twitch.com Shifts and Pucks. Subscribe wherever you get your audio, as well as on the Area 51 Sports Network. And just a reminder, our podcast with Kent Wilson was up earlier this week. We didn't do our regular one. We're going to do one at some point here, probably next week, as we're winding down the summer portion of our calendar year, heading into the post Labor Day, back to school, back to work things, and as well as back to training camps, as well as the WHL, OHL, QMJHL have all started their camps. AJHL have some preseason games coming up here pretty soon. BCHL action will be coming up really soon. So get the skates are coming on. I know it is plus 30 in most of the country right now. Still hot, but it's hockey's really becoming year round, isn't it? It's becoming a year round activity, especially since COVID. You look, of course, we had like that the pause when the beginning of the pandemic hit, and then we had the bubble playoffs in Edmonton and Toronto, and then the season after that we kind of went a little later than usual, and then we had the World Juniors in August because of the pandemic moving them, and then the Women's World Hockey Championships are currently going on right now, and we're at the semifinal stage as 4 games were today, and some history happened today as well. So let's get into that as we'll start with here. Let's get started. We'll go backwards. We'll end with Canada and start from what happened at the beginning of the day here. And it was Switzerland over Japan 2-1 as Swiss have advanced to the next round here. They won in a shootout 2-1. And as we look at the summary of that game here, just give me a moment to pull that up here on the set, but so it'll be the Swiss. So the Swiss advanced the semi-finals here on yesterday, and as we look at the stats of this one here, 2-1. Japan opened the scoring. Ito Mikado scored at the 14:35 mark to take the lead, but Sinya Lehman tied it at 16:01 of the third period. No goals in overtime. Shootout. Alina Marty scored, and Sinya Lehman scored, and that is what happened in that one there, as the Swiss come away with the win. Shots on goal for here in this one. The Swiss, Japan outshoots Sweden 33-24, and as far as Swiss goaltender, Andrea Brindley made 32 saves for the victory for the Swiss, and then Japan, they get their goaltending from Miyu Mashura. She makes 22 saves. So the Swiss moved on in that one. Then, of course, Hilary Knight made history again, as we go back here to look off here. That was the next one. Of course, Hilary Knight passed the tied Hayley Wickenheiser during the U.S.-Canada game in career points, and she passed it. She gets an assist in the second period, a goal in the third. It was 12-1. That was her 86 and 87 career points. That surpasses Hayley Wickenheiser. So Hilary Knight on top of Women's World Hockey scoring leader. Let's not forget, though, I mean, that's the big story, but there was a couple of other stories in this one. Amanda Castle had 5 assists. That ties a women's world record. Hannah Bilka, hat trick and 2 assists. Taylor Heiss, who's becoming a breakout star in this tournament, had a hat trick and 1 assist. 15 players had 1 point at least. Shots US 69 were 69-10, and so US advanced to the semifinals there with that 12-1 victory. The Czechs, this is a special day for the Czechs as Anita Terlova scored in overtime, and the Czechs beat Finland 2-1 to advance to the semifinals. So they will play the U.S. They have continued their streak of scoreless periods in the first here. And then, and came away with the victory here. Daniela Pasova opened the scoring. The Czechs with a 1-0 lead. And that was at the 17-minute mark of the second period. And then a delayed penalty goal. Nora Tulis jumped on a pass from Hopeland to put Finland on the board. Game tied at 1, and then of course we had overtime there, and it was 2-1 for the Czechs. So the Czechs advance to the semifinals, play in the United States, and so good on the Czechs as they, for the first time they get to move forward here. And we keep talking about this. Everyone talks about how this is the Canada and the US tournament, and you know what? Yeah, they're the perennial favorites, but you are seeing countries in this tournament grow. Finland is getting better. The Czechs are getting better as well. So that's the value of this tournament, and allowing for all of this as well as the final score 2-1 shots on goal in the game, 37-33 favoring Finland there, as Annie Casella made 31 saves for Finland in the loss. And for the Czechs, their goaltending was Klara Plesarova, made 36 saves on 37 shots. So the Czechs move on to the next round. Canada also moving on, of course. They win 3-0. Jocelyn the Rock scores first at the 17-11 mark of the first period. Sarah Potomac at 13:56 in the second. Aaron Ambrose at the 13:10 of the third, as Sarah Potomac has a goal and an assist, and Canada will play those Czechs in the semifinals, and those games are on Saturday. Shots on goal were 57-9 favoring the Canadians, and give the Swedish goaltender a ton of credit for making 54 saves. That's Emma Soderberg who did that. Canada, 3-0. Jocelyn the Rock again being outstanding. Marie-Philippe Poulin getting an assist as well. So Canada will play the Czechs. The U.S. will play Canada plays Switzerland. The U.S. plays the Czechs in the next round, and that will be coming up. And then the championship game will be on the 4th of September. So there we go for that. In Dallas, some news came out today. Jake Oettinger got a contract. Of course, that was probably, is it safe to say it was still one of the better, even though it was in the first round, the best single goaltending performance of any series? I think maybe Sorokin maybe competed a little bit in one of the series, maybe, but Jake Oettinger was just unreal against the Calgary Flames. He gets a 3-year deal here. 23 years old, 48 games last season, 30-15-1 with 2.53 goals against average. But He, of course, and part of that good 2017 NHL draft, 26th overall. And he had a 9.4 save percentage, pushed the Flames to Game 7, 41, 23, and 8, 77 career NHL games. And looking at this here for you still got a little bit of work to do if you're the Dallas Stars because you have to still sign Jason Robertson, who also had a breakout year last year that you need to sign as well. And so, Tom Goulardi made a comment about not wanting to give large contracts to players who their second contracts to players who you still need to prove it. And I think that's where Dallas was coming from on this one. They have a projected cap space at this point at 6.3. You've still got to sign Jason Robertson from this year as well. And so, but you got your goaltender, Jake Oettinger, Scott Wedgwood in there as well. Colin Miller is there. Miro Heiskanen had an outstanding playoff against the Flames as well. So you wonder what happens with Dennis Gurianov, 2.9. That's a guy I'm curious about. He was a healthy scratch at times. Mason Marchment got 4 years, 4.5. That was an interesting acquisition. You got Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin who make 9.5. Ben does, and Seguin 9.8. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in Dallas with under a new coach as we moved on from Rick Bowness last year. After that, to a new in terms of a new coach. And of course, that is Pete DeBoer, who came from Vegas, is their new coach there as well. And as mentioned, we begin here September 1st. We started off mentioning this. We'll close off mentioning this. Training camps open across the WHL, across the OHL yesterday as junior hockey starts getting ready. Their WHL seasons, regular season will be beginning here quite soon as you've got, of course, preseason game here. First one is on Tuesday, is our first preseason game, and we'll start getting ourselves ready there as well. Next Friday, we got a bunch of games coming up as well. So that's what's going on there. Okay, we'll keep an eye on that. Of course, that completes our news for today. You can follow us all individually on Twitter. Devin Gordhowe09, Tyler TNOBLE, Christian Schneidza, CHNEIDZ, Sean Beardy Canuck 03. I am KEVOLE, Shifts and Pucks, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Subscribe wherever you got your audio, as well as on the Area 51 Sports Network. Thanks, everyone, for your watching and listening. We'll talk to you all very soon. Bye for now.